Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? Gives me great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you from the WPLR, Chaz and AJ in the morning. Please give a big round of applause for Chaz.
So I got here a couple hours ago and there was this big dark black cloud overhead. And now the sun is shining, and I think that's the best symbolism of what happened to our country 15 years ago today. It was dark, we were down, then the sun came out and we got back to it. My name is Chaz from Chaz and AJ in the morning, and I say this from the bottom of my heart. F*** the terrorists. I actually pulled that line from Senator Blumenthal's speech, so now he doesn't have to say it. Got your back, Senator. Senator will be on the show tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour. He'll be saying that word every other minute. Kids, don't ask your parents, please. 15 years ago, we said we'd never forget. You guys are crystal clear proof that we haven't forgotten. So thank you. The biker community is, from my experience being on radio my whole life, the most giving, caring community you will ever encounter. You guys and girls always come up big, so thank you. God bless you all. And now, quick show of hands here, and keep your hands up. Past or present military, past present police, past present firefighters, past present first responders. Yeah, just look around. Look at all these people. How about a nice round of applause for all of them? Thank you all. And for the Facebook page, I thought this would be a good opportunity to get a USA chant, right? On the 15th anniversary. So my girlfriend Jennifer's here. She's going to spin around and video. And so we want your hands up in the air. I'm going to start it. It's going to be USA, USA, USA. Let's hear you. USA. USA! 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 Yeah, thank you. And you know what? There's not one person here who will take a kneel during the national anthem, so thank you for that. I want to bring up the organizer, Fred Garrity. This guy always comes up big for us. Big charity, big heart. This guy is always there. And thank God now he's running for state office. So please give a nice welcome to the organizer and founder of this event, Fred Garrity.
Thanks, Chaz. We all need to thank Chaz and AJ. For those of you who don't know, they were nominated for a Marconi Award this year, which is the Academy Award of Radio. There's only 5 people in the whole country get nominated every year. So big round of applause for what they do for the community every year. Thanks, Chaz. Thanks, AJ. You guys are great. Okay, I'm going to bring up a friend of ours really quickly. Our friend John Heyman. He's your motorcycle injury attorney. He wants to come up and say hello. John.
Told to keep it short. Hard to do if you're a lawyer, but nevertheless, I'll do my best. There's 4 words that come to my mind. Never again and never forget. I think it says it all. Thank you.
Those are the best speeches, aren't they? Okay, so I don't get that luxury because there are so many people here that we have to say thank you to. So, with us today, we have Senator Blumenthal. I'll just wait till the end. We'll do it once. We'll save time. We have Senator Richard Blumenthal, Senator Chris Murphy, Congressman Jim Himes, State Senate Majority Leader Bob Duff, State Rep Gail Lavielle was here. We have the Mayor of Norwalk, Harry Rilling. We have Westport First Selectman Jim Marp, Second Selectman Avi Kaner. We have the Norwalk Fire Chief Larry Riley. We have the president of the Teamsters who brings this beautiful truck down from Boston every year for us. Dennis Novak is here. We have from the UPFFA of Connecticut, the guys who are behind this ride 100%, and the only reason it comes off every year like it does We have the treasurer, Bob Anthony, is here. The secretary, Lou D'Amici, is here. The president, Pete Carrozza, is here. We also have the president, the international general president of the International Association of Firefighters, Harold Shapeberger, is here from Washington, D.C. So we can't do this every year without you folks. Yeah, wave to the drone because that's the promo video guy. For those of you who have been on Facebook, thank you. For those of you who haven't seen the video on Facebook we posted last week, is up for 8 days. 8 days. 19,000 unique views. Thank you. When we tell people we have several thousand riders and 15,000 people along Fairfield County waiting for us, there's the proof. And we can't do this without all of you. So we run down this really fast and take me about 30 seconds. We need to thank WPLR 95.9 The Fox, 102.9 The Whale, Chaz and AJ in the morning. Poland Springs are huge. They got water for us here and water for us at the end. Bozzy's Restaurants, AAA of Northeast, AMR, Newman's Own, Bud's Truck and Diesel, R Stone Company, Heyman Law Firm, Captain's Cove Seaport, Nunes Auto Body, Residential Waste Systems, Ruane Attorneys, the Knights of Columbus Park City Council. Those are my guys over there serving you coffee. Trentolo and Trentolo, TNT Plowing, Greg's Carpentry, Megawatt Entertainment, High Audio and Event Sound, and then the cities of Bridgeport, Norwalk, Fairfield, Trumbull, Westport, Reading, the municipality of Georgetown, Bethel, Newtown, Monroe, Trumbull, and Bridgeport. We also have New Haven, Derby, Shelton, Stratford, Milford, New Canaan, New Fairfield firefighters out with their trucks. We have the Connecticut State Pipers Drum Corps here. We want to thank, and I really appreciate the respect you give these young adults out here. In 2001, we had a bunch of guys with staff shirts pointing around for 400 or 500 people. This year, we have 100 police cadets from 8 towns helping keep you safe. Line this up so we can get out of here. We have the cadets from Trumbull, Norwalk, Newtown, Bridgeport, Fairfield, Easton, Reading, Stratford, and Hamden. Thank you, guys. Big round of applause. And out on the streets, you'll see fire trucks, police trucks, and then you have the search teams in Wilton and Monroe. And again, one more time, we have our Teamsters from New England Joint Council 10, Boston, Massachusetts, where this truck is from, Teamsters Local 25, Boston, and Teamsters Local 145 in Bridgeport. They bring this big bad boy of red, white, and blue for you to see every year and be our backdrop, and we're grateful for it. Again, that promo video on Facebook, Kevin Shively did that, Brian Mezzapelli from Valley Aerial Optics, and since last year that he flew that drone, he has now become a newbie on the Stratford Firefighter. He's now a Stratford Firefighter who's flying that for us. We couldn't do this without all the volunteers. They're under the tent. They're out here helping you. They are really the core of what makes this happen. I can come up and say thank you to everybody, but without all the other people that help, this doesn't happen. And most of all, we need to thank you. Because without the riders that are in this parking lot, this event doesn't happen. And we can tell our story of the Connecticut United Ride that happens every year. In 2001, we sent money to New York, we gathered here, and we went for a ride. And every year since, we've gathered back, depending on the weather, big and strong. Several years you saw our famous money shot with the highway of the motorcade, and Deputy Chief Mangano for Bridgeport Police was the lead motorcycle in that famous picture. You know, he went out sick, and he was out for months. It wasn't looking good. But right before the end, he came back, got dressed up, and he led this ride one more time. It was the last thing he did, and we are always grateful for that. This event is always in place every year. Unfortunately, it's in place for tragic things. When Waterbury Captain of the Fire Department, Keene, passed away, we were able to help them support the family and friends. When Lieutenant Velasquez and Firefighter Bake in Bridgeport passed away, we were able to come here and honor them for what they did. And one of our stories that has given me a close relationship with a new set of friends over tragic circumstances. You've heard me say it before, and I will say it again. This event has its own story, its own family, and it's you. In 2002, Wilfredo Perez Sr. and Wilfredo Perez Jr. rode together in this ride. The next day, Wilfredo Perez Jr. deployed to Iraq, where he was killed in action. This is the last thing that the father and son did together. And we will always remember that. Wilfredo, where are you? Right there, buddy. Every year. And as Chaz said, you know, in 2001 we were attacked. There's no other way to say it. 9/11, we're always going to remember. You ask your children when you get home, what day was Pearl Harbor? And they'll look at you and they'll ask you, well, let me Google it. We're never going to forget 9/11 because it happened on our watch. And every once in a while, we'll get a positive email. I got a positive email this week from a young gentleman who said, Fred, I've been on every one of your CT United rides. I was born on September 11th. Would it be possible if I could get up closer in line? Everybody wants to be in the front of the line, and I thank you all for that. It's an easy thing that I try to accomplish every year. But this young gentleman said, would it be okay if I tried to move up in line, seeing as today was my birthday? And I said that'd be fine, because he was born in 1928, and Don Worth, today's his 88th birthday, and he's riding in the 66 ride, and he's right up there in front with us. So Don Worth, thank you very much for coming here with us. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce, or a welcome, the Mayor of Norwalk, Harry Rilling.
God bless America. You know, Fred thanked everybody except one person, himself. So let's hear it for Fred Garrity for all he's done. As I look out across this group, I see this is what America is all about. 15 years ago, 2,996 Americans and others perished in the World Trade Center attacks, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon. 343 of those were firefighters, 72 police officers, and among them many other first responders. The terrorists thought that they had punched us in the stomach, had dropped us to our knees, and had destroyed our nation. But instead, we got back up. We stood tall, especially during the playing of our national anthem. We stood tall, we stood proud, and we became a stronger nation. So I thank all of you, the salt of the earth, the people who give so much of themselves, for coming out year after year, not only today, but for what you do year-round to help our first responders, our firefighters, our police officers, our EMS personnel. And let's never forget to keep supporting our police officers who, in the face of criticism around the country, continue to do their job every single day and night while we sleep peacefully. Our firefighters keep us safe, and we'd be willing to respond at 3 o'clock in the morning to help save our families. So God bless them. God bless all of you. God bless this amazing nation that we so proudly refer to as the United States of America.
I'd like to call up now for a continued welcome the Senate Majority Leader from Norwalk, Senator Bob Duff.
Thank you, Fred. Let's hear it for Fred again. We ready for a great ride today? It's a beautiful day. 15 years ago, we as Americans made a solemn promise to each other as we went to rebuild our nation that we would never forget those days and those tragic events of September 11th. You have helped us to make sure that we never forget. Today I see a number of small children who are here today, like my children who were not born until after September 11th. We have made it our mission to make sure that we teach them what happened those days, how people came together, how people were brave, how we worked together in cooperation, and how we came together as one nation under God. So thank you all for making sure that we remind everybody in our nation that we never forget, that we always remember those who died and sacrificed for us. And also like to take a moment to thank our first responders as well, our police officers, our firefighters, our EMS, our state police, and all the others who keep us safe from harm's way each and every day. Thank you very much, and God bless America.
Okay, at this time I'd like to call up the Norwalk Fire Chief Larry Riley and the Managing Director of the 100 Club of Connecticut to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. It's there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
Thank you very much, guys. Chief, you got your firefighter ready? At this time, we have a wonderful tradition we've developed here. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the Connecticut State Firefighters Pipe and Drum Corps. Thank you. At this time, they will lead us and play Amazing Grace, at which time, the end, the Norwalk firefighters will ring the bell 11 times in a moment of silence. Gentlemen. Thank you. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Jody Keoghan, international opera singer. And now that we've all been here and we've heard the opening speeches, we remember why we're here and what we're here to honor as she comes up and she sings our national anthem, where we will all be standing at attention. Thank you very much, Jody. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for the men and women of the Connecticut State Firefighters Pipe and Drum Corps. A really big thank you for everybody who's come to join us today, because we know on a day like 9/11, there are tribute ceremonies in everyone's town. So at this time, I'd like to call up Westport First Selectman Jim Marp and Second Selectman Avi Kaner.
Thank you, Fred. And on behalf of the town of Westport, which is the first town you'll come to on your ride, about a mile east of here, I want to welcome all of the riders. We appreciate the fact that your ride reminds us of how many sacrificed their lives on that terrible day 15 years ago, and keeps it in our memory and keeps it in the memory of generations to come. So thank you for doing this ride. Today is also a day of service, and this is a service, I believe, to our great country. So thank you. God bless you on your ride, and be safe out there. Ride safely, and God bless our first responders, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
A few minutes ago, I was taking my son around, along with Jim Marpy, looking at all these beautiful bikes. And one thing that struck us is how different each one is, different shapes, colors, sizes. And it made us realize that's what America stands for. We're all shapes, colors, sizes, and when we unite, like we do today, it makes us stronger. So thank you. And then finally, as you ride through our beautiful town of Westport, in your minds, please think of Westport resident Jonathan Human, who passed away on 9/11. Thank you.
You know, Avi brings up some good points. We've had some friends here who've lost some relatives, but we have some good stories. You know, you never know who you're standing next to. We have our DJ, Eric Buxbaum, whose brother was in one of the trade towers when it was struck, and he was lucky enough to come out, and he's alive today. That's why Eric says, I'll be there every day, because his brother's alive, and he's got that close tie to it. So, the next gentleman I'm going to call up to you is going to take a couple seconds, because the uniformed professional firefighters of Connecticut are really what's the strength behind this. They're what enables us to have a charity fundraiser with no expenses, no administration except the expenses. And when I tell you, Pete Carrozza, who I'm going to call up, is a firefighter, a labor guy, a friend, and somebody to count on, I'm going to give you an example of how you count on Peter Carrozza, the president of the Connecticut State Firefighters. Mr. Carrozza, who I hope is still married next week, has a daughter, and her name is Alyssa Taglia. Pete Carrozza's daughter is Miss Connecticut, who is in Atlantic City right now competing for Miss America for Connecticut tonight. And Peter Carrozza was kind enough to let his wife in on his plan to return to be at one of the largest events the firefighters throw last night. He said, honey, I'm going to come up to Connecticut. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, I promise. So his daughter is in Miss America contest tonight in Atlantic City, and he's here today to welcome and thank you for being part of this event. So ladies and gentlemen, the president of the state firefighters and my friend, Peter Carrozza.
Thank you very much, Fred. And please, I've got to get back there or I'm in deep trouble. Let me, first of all, thank everyone here. For 15 years, this group here is just bigger and bigger. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts on behalf of all the firefighters in the state of Connecticut. Thank you. I also want to recognize, I know he's been recognized before, but Fred Garrity does an outstanding job. You know, this is a project and an event that needs an awful lot of planning. And Fred has done an outstanding job for 15 years. Can we have another round of applause for Fred Garrity? Let me, and it's truly an honor for me to introduce our next guest. Last year when Fred was at our state convention, a little over a year ago, he was talking to our members from around the state of Connecticut about the logistics of this event. And while he was talking, our next guest leaned over to me and said, I'll be there. I want to be there, and I want to be there to ride. It's an honor for me to introduce the General President of the National Association of Firefighters, who came up from Washington, D.C. He represents over 300,000 firefighters across the United States and Canada. Please give a warm Connecticut welcome to the General President of the IAFF, Harold Schaeperger. Harold.
Thank you, Pete, and it's great to be here. I don't want to bring this down, but I just want to make sure that we really all do remember and never forget. It was 9:59, 15 years ago, that the horrific collapse of the South Tower took place. And 29 minutes later, at 10:28, the North Tower collapsed. And we all watched one of the most horrific days in our nation's history. It was a beautiful day like today. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, in fact, not a cloud in the sky. It then became one of the darkest moments that any of us have ever imagined. But it was also a day of an extraordinary celebration and watching what this nation is really all about. And watching the response from those who chose to make sure their service was delivered in order to save so many thousands of lives. I know the focus is on the almost 3,000 that died that day. But for our members, for law enforcement, EMS, paramedics, and so many other workers, there was 25,000 citizens in those towers that were saved and evacuated. Yesterday I was at St. Patrick's Cathedral honoring the 343 of our members that made that ultimate sacrifice. And looking at the face again of every single one of them and recognizing that along with so many building trades, iron workers that really provided extraordinary service to this nation, and today who still suffer the effects and the lingering disease that's occurring because of that great service. So this is a day to celebrate. I am very proud to be here. And I am so proud to just be allowed to be a part of our union of 302,000 of the very best. But I also want to make sure that when we say we never forget, we remember the context of what extraordinary service and sacrifice is all about. May God rest their souls. May we have a safe ride. Thank you for allowing me to be here. God bless our great nation.
Okay, at this time it's my pleasure to introduce our Congressman Jim Himes.
Thank you, Fred, and good morning, and thank you to all of you. I happen to have been in Lower Manhattan on 9/11, and like all of you, I remember the shock, the fear, the anger, and we acknowledge the retribution that our men and women in uniform and all that support them visited upon those who did it to us on 9/11. But what I remember most about that day was those buildings were barely down before people in Lower Manhattan were helping each other out. We're helping the old and the frail, store owners giving away their food and their water to people who are in trouble, firefighters streaming in from all over New England and New Jersey, doctors and nurses coming into Lower Manhattan, knowing that what we had to do in that moment was to remember and to support each other. And that's why you're here 15 years later, to remember and to support and to remind ourselves that as long as we have that instinct to come together, to support each other, no one, not anyone, anywhere can beat this great country. So thank you. Thank you for all you're doing today and remembering that horrible day and our amazing response to it.
And we have with us our United States Senator Chris Murphy. So I want to thank all of the people who make this possible. This doesn't come off without just an enormous amount of volunteer help. I want to thank everybody who made this day possible. Here's my only point to you. You're doing some amazing things today. You're raising the memory of all that we lost. You're honoring our first responders. You're raising a ton of money for policemen and firefighters and EMTs who go down in the line of duty to help their families. But you're also, frankly, part of the national defense. Because there are groups today out there who are still plotting to attack this country. And in doing so, they're making a bet that if they attack us, that they will be able to keep us down, that they will make us weaker. And every time that we rise up
in a powerful demonstration like you've done here for 15 years in a row. You make those groups think twice because they look at what we have done. They look at how much stronger we are today, even with that massive loss of life. And they know that they cannot do damage to the American soul with an attack on our soil, because we will rise up once again stronger than ever before. I want you guys to all be safe out there on your ride today and wake up every single day thanking God that we live in the best country in the world. God bless America. Have a safe ride.
Thank you, Senator. Now a good friend of mine who's been at just about every one of these and many events that we're all at all over Connecticut. And I know that we always hear Senator Blumenthal is just about everywhere. And one of the things I remind people is that's a phrase you never used to hear with United States senators. So here today, with all the things going on in the state, I'm proud to introduce my friend, United States Senator Richard Blumenthal.
Well, Fred, there isn't anything more important going on in the state today than right here. I'm tempted to say there isn't anything more important going on in the United States of America than right here with this ride today. Thank you all for being here and showing what is important about America. You know, the terrorists struck and they brought down the World Trade Center. They struck and they damaged the Pentagon. They hit the Pentagon, they hit the World Trade Center, but they missed America. They missed the American spirit. And 14 years ago, 15 years ago, when we came together, and I've been here every year since, there were about 500. 500, think about it. You could fit 500 people over in that corner. This event has grown bigger and better every year because of you. Because you are America. And yes, I walked around and I saw the different bikes, but I also saw different people. People who look different. Different colors, different races, different religions, different sizes and shapes. Some people very different. That difference is something that we celebrate in America, because what brings us together is the reason you're here today. We are the greatest, strongest nation in the history of the world. And one more point. We are great because of our first responders, our firefighters, our police, all who serve in uniform. But we're also great because of the military men and women who right now, even as we enjoy this beautiful day, are out there on the front lines. They are deployed in the cause of freedom and democracy around the world. Let us never forget our men and women in uniform and our veterans. And one of them just happens to be a son of mine. So thank you for being here today, not just to remember, but to look forward. You know the saying, mourn the dead, but fight like hell for the living. We need to continue the fight for America. We are at war with terrorist extremism. We will win with the resilience and the resoluteness that you're demonstrating today. Thank you for being here. God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Safe ride. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. In just about 10 minutes, we're going to be ready to go. Safety, safety, safety. 10 to 15 feet between your motorcycles is safe. 30, 40, 50 feet between the motorcycles is unsafe. People cannot come in the motorcade if the motorcade is tight. We have probably 70 motorcycle police, firefighters, and police shutting down intersections in every town. But every driveway and every side street cannot be shut down. So you need to keep
the tight gap. 20 feet tops. If you're doing more than that, you're not keeping yourself safe. You're endangering everyone when someone doesn't realize what's going on. Please stay tight. And the last thing, we didn't hear yet today, I want you to know in this audience, you have riders in every state from Maine to Virginia today. Big round of applause. I think that had something to do with our general president of the IAFF bringing firefighters up and down the Northeast, but they're all here. Ride safe. We're going out in 10 minutes, line by line. Please listen to the release. And as we say every year, thank you for coming. You made it. Let's go make some noise.
Start your engines. I want to hear this place rumble.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
Thank you very much, guys.